Hi, my name is Michael St. Amy. If you happen to enjoy this video and you're new to the channel, I would like to invite you to subscribe, hit the bell notification, leave a like and a comment. Good evening, good evening. I'm going to give it a little bit to see if anybody else comes on. I notice one individual is on right now. If you're able to, please let me know who you are and where you're viewing from. As this video is titled and as I have explained previously, the Thursday night live videos is going to be based on the Tuesday video. It's just going to be a discussion of that video. And also any other little, side topics I may have. Like, I'll probably, okay, one other person came in. I'll go ahead and start. I'll start off with, good day, sir. How you doing? I'll start off with two photographs that I have put up that I'm going to show you right now. Is it this one? Which one is it? I think it's this one. Oh, that's my friend here. And then that's meaning it must be this one. Did I lose my space? My place, sorry. Where is it? I have two photographs on here I want to show you guys. And I can't seem. Give me 1 second. Hi, Rick. Hi, DMC. I am trying to see. What did I do? Where did those two photographs go? Okay, I'm gonna have to do it in real time. This thing is not behaving today. So I'm gonna have to do it in real time. Hi, Nico. Throw this up here. And come on. There we go. Photos. And I'll throw this one up first. Okay. I want you guys to notice that I have moved my dust collector. It used to be, as you can see in a photograph here, is next to my door into the house, right next to the door from the house section into the garage. The dust collector used to be on the garage door side of the garage, which is on the other side of the CNC. So I moved it, and in doing that, I made my ducking shorter, thus making it more effective. And also, there's another side benefit. And I'm gonna go ahead and close that out and show you another photograph. Open. Picture in picture. Now, this is where it used to be. And my little Craig workbench that I have using as a makeshift computer station for my CNC machine, it used to be crammed right next to it. Now I have a whole lot of space. So this really worked out for me. And also I have easier access to my electrical panel. I just thought I'd share this with you guys. John Woods, thank you, sir. Nice to have you here tonight. So I wanted to share that. Get out of that. Come on. Why is it not closing? Okay. Oh, I know why. Okay, there we go. With that, I'm gonna go ahead and moving. Yes, yes, yes. So quickly before I go through the cart video. Oh, hi Matt from Johns Creek. Oh, interesting. You're here in the Atlanta area. Nice to meet you. I was about to say something before I start the cart video, but I kind of lost my place. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the cart video. And in the Tuesday video, it's done intentionally, by the way. There's no dialogue, because I wanted, if anyone, you know, had any questions, I want them to attend this, where I will kind of narrate it. So it'll encourage people to come to the live, in other words. I'm hoping it's working. So here we go. And I'll go ahead and find this video. That's not what I'm looking for. Where is it? It's like you start a live and everything decides to do whatever it wants to do. Choose file. And I believe it's this one. Open. Picture. And I'm gonna go ahead and pause here. This is the front of the cart, and in the front section of the cart, I have a spot for cutoffs. That's on the right. Thank you, DMC. On the right, looking at the image, that's for cutoffs, mainly rip cuts. So little strips I develop cutting lumber and so forth, I store them here because I always find myself using those scraps. So I try not to throw them away immediately. On the left is cut off sheets of plywood. Now, as the cart is right now, I'm not using it to its potential. A lot of the stuff that is in there is stuff after I build it, I just wanted to get out of the way. Some of this stuff I need to throw away. And ultimately, I'm going to use it the way I intend to use it, which is cut off of plywoods on the left and rip cuts on the right. By the way, guys, all of this is made famous casters that I showed you guys in a previous video. They're really lovely. They're casters and leveling field. Perfect example how I'm not currently using it the way I intend. Right now, this is just a catch-all, but ultimately, all of this is stuff that I haven't been using. Like for example, there's quite a piece of MDF in there. That's MDF that I've had for a very long time, and I don't use MDF anymore for anything. So all of that needs to be thrown away. The music is louder than my voice. Okay, here we go. I can reduce the volume on that right here. Thanks, John. Okay. So how I intend to use this is as I'm working on a project, it's going to start off in its rough state in its full length, which is most time for me is about 12 to 16 feet. In the bottom will be rough cutoffs that I cut down to my approximate length, my rough length for a project. And the shelf on top would be for my finished joint and plain pieces for a project. So that's the intention. Let me know if the volume on the music is better now. I dropped it significantly. Is the volume better now? Somebody let me know if the volume is better now. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, DMC. Now the back side is going to be for full sheets. I designed it to be able to hold 8 full sheets of plywood. Right now it doesn't have 8 full sheets of plywood. Some of it back there currently is cut off. It's basically all the stuff that I had existing that I threw on there. But ultimately, great. Thank you. Ultimately, as I'm describing, is the way I'm going to be using it. On the back, it's going to be 8 full size 4x8 sheets of plywood that I'm using for a particular project. And when I break it down, the broke down or remnants that I use in a project would be in that front side next to the cut-off strips, the section for the cut-off strips that I was mentioning that you guys probably didn't hear me at the time. That's how I'm going to ultimately use it. So this, as you're looking at it right now, is going to hold 8 full 4x8 sheets of plywood. And as you already know, it's on wheels. So I have the ability to put it up to the doorway to load full sheets on it that I brought in. Right now I'm using clamps to hold it in place, but I have a different mechanism that I have planned for holding it in place. So I'm showing you here how I can pull it up to the garage door, and basically I will be able to slide a sheet of plywood onto it, and after it's loaded on, I'll be able to roll it back into position up against the wall and out of the way. after I have it in position, I can drop the wheels. Not drop the wheels, but I could drop the pads, the leveling feet, and it becomes stationary. That's the idea. And for this demonstration, I only lowered the pads, the leveling pads for the front, and it still was very stable. That's me with only just the front two lowered. If you made it to the end, I would like to thank you for watching this video. So there it is. Any question, guys? What do you think? What could I have done better? Or what you like about it? Please let me know. At this point is an open conversation. I need to remember for the future, I need to lower the volume. If I have any music playing in the video, I need to lower the volume. Thanks, guys, for letting me know that. Any questions, any opinions? We have 6 people on tonight. It can even be off topic. Like, for example, if there's any input for how y'all think the video should be, I will take it into consideration as far as format. Oh, you know, friend, you missed it because at no point did I ever state it. You know what? I have never even measured the thing, to be honest with you. I do not know off the top of my head the overall dimension. Sorry about that. You know what, John? That base is so heavy. I haven't had an issue with it. Matter of fact, the plywood was the last thing that I loaded on it. Everything was loaded on the front before I put on the plywood, and it was not tipsy, it was stable. I guess the base is wide enough and heavy enough, because remember, the base is from my original outfeed table, which is a torsion box construction. So it's about 4 inches tall, and is plywood on top and bottom, and a plywood grid. So it's pretty stable. I mean, I guess it's no different to the carts at Home Depot. It's basically the same relationship in width to height. Thank you, John. I started off overthinking it. I was going to make something fancy, and I had to stop myself. I just needed something to organize my stuff so I can get back to a project that I started that got sidetracked on, which I mentioned it in the past. I don't think it showed up in any of the video I showed it may have in the shop tour, you would have seen some face frames. That's for my kitchen, my wife's kitchen, I should say. I need to get back to doing that. So I need to get that done and out of my way and take care of some other stuff around the shop to increase my efficiency, which brings me to that. I've gotten pretty good at fitting equipment in a shop, but my process hasn't been very, how would I put it, efficient as far as how I have stuff placed, as far as material. My equipment are great. The way I have them, they work for me. But as far as moving material around the shop, so now I'm starting to really fine tune my process of bringing stuff through the shop. Yes, sir. It is a tunnel. And as I was explaining, those two tunnels is for, okay, basically, when I get rough lumber, they're very long. They're usually 12 feet, as much as 16 feet when I get them in. And I usually don't bring them in straight into the shop. I will have them like in my foyer temporarily until I could break them down, rough cut them to length. And then what I would do, what I plan to do with this cart is I'll load the rough ones into the bottom in that process when I'm prepping. And then as I process them, I'm gonna move them up to the top shelf. So that's my little concept that I'm working on concerning, once again, efficient way of moving lumber to project through the shop and back out. Because I do not want to be in a situation where I have been doing. I don't want to have stuff on the CNC machine, and I do not want to have stuff on the outfeed table. And that's what I found myself doing for a long time, and it makes me inefficient. And I finally got fed up with it, building face frames for this kitchen. And that's when I said I need to build me a storage cart. Initially, I was thinking about just plywood, but because of the issues of frustration I was having, I decided that it had to be more than just plywood. It has to be it have to be a means of me to store active project lumber. That's the way I would like to put it. Active project lumber that I bring into the shop. So basically, that's what I'm trying to accomplish now. I'm trying to fine tune my process. The whole idea that I shared with you guys concerning turning my garage door into a tool wall. All of that is to improve my efficiency. As you can see, my background over here, that tool wall, I have to walk from my I mean, obviously it's not a far walk, but when you're working and when you're hustling to get stuff done, to have to walk from my assembly table, my MFT table slash assembly table, to walk from there to go to this tool wall to get a tool off of it is wasted steps. That never really entered my mind, to be honest with you. I never even thought about that. I agree. I agree. And that's exactly why I'm starting to work on organizing things in a way I'll give you a perfect example. The last couple days, my whole shop was torn. Well, not the last. Well, yeah. Yesterday, the whole shop was torn up. For me to move the dust collector to its new location, I, of course, had to undo everything I did on the garage door so I can open up the garage to move that dust collector into the house and back into the garage on the other side. And in that time span, in that one day, I put everything back to the shop being as clean as you saw, at least the areas. Well, it's everywhere in the shop, but you can only see the two areas where the dust collector is at and where the computer desk is at. Everything was put back into their place after I was done. And that's how I tend to do things in the shop. It's very frustrating for me anyway to work among clutter. And it's very frustrating for me to work in an inefficient manner. So I'm at the point now that I'm trying to home my whole process. I, point taken, exactly what I'm talking about. That's what I mean by frustration. It literally sucks the joy out of it for me. So with everything I'm doing now, everything is going to be where I want it. Underneath, I still have a lot of space that I'm not taking advantage of, which is underneath my Mega MFT table. It's completely open. I intend on putting, creating my own. I don't remember what Festool calls it, but it's their drawer system that they use for sustainers. But I'm gonna make my own system using drawer slides. But my dominoes and everything I want to have right next to me where I use them. Hand tools, the ones I use most, like layout, my story sticks, everything is either in the back of me or it's gonna be in the table itself. So that's my goal. And the other side, the other side benefit over the years, an interesting phenomena has developed for me. I promise you, when I had less tools, I was actually more efficient because I was more efficient. I how can I explain it to you? I knew everything I had, and I had to work with everything I had. So the more tools I've gotten, I've stored stuff away, and sometimes I'll go back to doing stuff a old way and not take advantage of a new efficiency that I've gained with a new tool because that tool is hidden away somewhere in a container. So now with putting everything out, I see everything that I have. So I reach for exactly what I need for a given situation. So that's another side benefit of doing this. Any other questions or thoughts? Well, if we don't have any more questions or thoughts, I think I'm going to call it a. Oh, here we go. DMC. Tools and things take space. Yep. Yep. And that's the whole idea behind of it. Yes, John, I know. Autocorrect. I know what you meant. And that's the idea. Yes, yes it is. And yes, yes it is. And that's not me, that's YouTube. There is a lag. It's called latency. And yeah, that's the time. It's not just YouTube. It's the time it takes for my camera to process the information. Then it has to go to a capture card. Then it has to go to my computer. Then it has to go to YouTube. The YouTube has to process it. I send it to you. So there's a built-in delay. That's why I try to remind myself when I ask a question, I have to wait a little bit for a response. It's, it makes it kind of weird to have a normal human discussion because I kind of forget that it has that lag, that latency. Is there anything else you guys would like to see in the future? Would you like to see like more CNC projects? Because I feel I'm getting pretty good at the CNC now, so I can start letting you guys in and watching me do projects on that. And it will actually force me to do more projects on it. You're welcome, sir. I enjoyed myself too, as well. Um, that's the main reason why I haven't given up on it. I actually enjoy it. Do you think there's anything I can do to make the format more interesting, the live? Okay, great. It's yes, it's gonna be a new experience for me too. I think, of course, the Mega MFT. I still have to work on the version of it for a standard CNC machine. I'm gonna start working on that in a little bit, and I'll probably turn that into a video. And then I have some other stuff I want to work on that I'm gonna be sharing with you guys very soon. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this previously, but if if you're interested in a way in supporting the channel, coming up in a little bit, next couple of weeks, I'm going to be selling these on the website, hinges, and other little stuff that, of course, if you're into cabinet making, slides and so forth like that. So stay tuned for that on the website. They do take up space. I agree. I really wanted a 4x8 machine, but then I would no longer have a woodworking shop. I would have a CNC shop. So until I get a bigger space, the biggest I could have gone with was the one that I have. Actually, it's not the biggest. A 4x4 would have been the biggest, but I also wanted to learn how to use the lathe aspect of it. So based on that, the one I have is the biggest I could have gone with for now. But at some point, I do intend on getting a 4x8. And yes, John, that's coming. By the way, that's the main reason why I got the CNC machine, for making jigs. So definitely. And anyone that is interested in the jigs that I make, if you find it to be useful, that's another way also you can support me. Anything else? I think I've shown a couple. If you are unaware, in the description of any of my video, you'll see a link to the website if you're interested. I'll give it a little bit. That's a good one. Let's start with me. My current project, as I stated, is a kitchen for my wife. I'm redoing the kitchen. I have all the face frames done, just about. I think I have a pantry face frame that I have to build, and then I want to try building all of the carcasses on the CNC machine. So I may definitely be turning that into a video for you guys to see on the CNC machine. I'm going to use the CNC machine to finish cut the sides, the components for the sides, the bottoms of the base, the bottoms and the tops and the sides for the upper cabinets, and the shelf pinholes. So that's what I'm doing. If anybody else want to state any project that they're working on, feel free. I'll post it on the screen. Oh, and actually, in the kitchen project, I'm gonna have few things I'm gonna be able to show. You're gonna get to see the Woodmaster molding machine. I have shown clips before of it producing molding, but you're gonna see I'm gonna produce the crown molding on that, and I'm also gonna produce the profiles for my I'm making miter doors, so I'm gonna produce the profile for the miter doors on the Woodmaster. So stay tuned for that. Okay, is that it? I don't want to sign out and okay, here we go. Great. What did you decide to go with for your jointer, if you don't mind me asking? Was that on my recommendation or just a coincidence? It's a real space saver, I'll tell you that. The whole concept of having a jointer and a planer in one machine. And I still yet, I probably may work on that tomorrow or the day after. Um, my new mobile base that I'm gonna make out of Baltic birch and the casters, the leveling casters. Because right now, I do not like the base that is on. Very frustrating, moving it around. I have the one with the helical head as well, and I'm really impressed with the performance. I insisted on getting a helical head, and it is everything that people say about it. The only thing I need to add to mine's, I have a analog digital readout on it. There's like a tachometer for the height, but I want to get an actual digital one from Pro Scales. I'm gonna add that to mine. I'll probably be. You're right. In fact, thank you. I'm gonna start doing that. And it took about that long for me to get mine as well. It was, yeah. It comes in from Italy. I don't know why they don't stock them here, but mine came all the way from Italy. That's the iPad. I did that in the beginning, but in the beginning it was a nightmare because of the equipment I was using and so forth. And my inexperience with doing this. I did have an iPad that I used to monitor the stream, but I went away from it during that period of frustration. I'm gonna integrate it back into the show so I can look at the stream live. Because the latency is a bear. There is, I figured out if there's a low latency mode that will improve it. I agree. I agree. Matter of fact, let me see. Well, this is dying, so I can't use my phone. My phone is about to die. Not next week. I'm not gonna be here next week, and I'll probably need to post something in the community. I'm not gonna be here next week, but in the stream following that, I'll have an iPad with the channel up and the stream live. And at some point too, I need to get me a monitor closer to me so I'm not looking across the room at a monitor. But I'm not giving up on the live. I love the idea of the live. I just need to perfect it. Matter of fact, with the current setup I have, I'm gonna throw something out there. With the current setup I have, I can do like call-ins. Would that be something that you guys would be interested in? Where you can call in, and I'll have to figure that out because I'll have to have some type of, screening process to keep the crazies out. Oh, DMC, by the way, don't be disturbed by the fact that the tilt meter is not in stock, because I had that same problem. I had mines in my favorite list for a while, and when I went to purchase it, it was out of stock for months. But then it popped back up, and that's when I purchased it. The only mistake I made, I should have bought more than one. But it goes out and comes back in. I agree. So that's something I would entertain. I do not know where you can get it after the fact, but you could have ordered. Put it back up there. You could have ordered it with the EuroGuard, and I don't know because that's what I'm used to. But I mean, I wish theirs wasn't plastic. My previous jointer was aluminum. I would prefer if it was like that, aluminum. But I'm used to the American style one, so that's why that didn't bother me. I didn't even consider ordering the Euro one, but I know you could order it with the Euro Guard. But technically, the Euro Guard is safer. I mean, you have to get over, the idea is a thin piece of metal, but it's safer in that the blade is always covered. Depending on how the fence is positioned with the American style one, you always have a little bit of the blade that could potentially be exposed. So, so technically, the European one is safer. Just like on the table saw, the European riving knife is safer than the American style splitter, which everybody has switched over to the riving knife now because it's proven to be safer. That doesn't make any sense because not only do they offer it with the Euro one, but what's the name of the other company? Hammer. I think Hammer one comes. That's the only way you can get it is with the Euro style one. So if that was a OSHA problem, the Hammer ones wouldn't be able to be sold in the United States, and I know they are. And once again, the European one is actually safer. So yeah, they probably just didn't want, to deal with that. I am skeptical also that it doesn't, the rationale doesn't make any sense. Yeah, the OSHA thing doesn't make any sense to me at all. Think about this. Well, you don't own it yet, but you said you have a friend that owns one. How is that any different to when you have the blade, the fence to do narrow stock? It has a guard in the back That is just a flat piece of metal that's covering the blade. How is that any different to the Euro guard that's on that would be on the front? It's the same, a very similar concept, except for the one in the back is on a hinge flap. So if the one in the front ain't safe, the one in the back shouldn't be safe either. So that's they're just making an excuse. It doesn't make any sense. In reality, the European one is actually safer than the pork chop style. When material is not being passed over the head, yes, there's a gap. I agree. Um, when you're edge jointing, but but still, uh, on the pork chop one, it hits the fence. So when there's no material passing, it's closed. I could see that a little bit now that you mention it. I could see that a little bit. And I agree. The pork chop one does feel like a afterthought. But once again, I see that logic. But once again, the other European store does not. I mean, jointer does not come with a pork chop. It's a European style one. But with all of this stuff, it comes down to mindfulness and understanding what you're dealing with. It's like being an electrician. There's inherent danger with working with electricity. And if you're careless and you don't respect the thing, you can get yourself in trouble. And that's why, people get on me for saying this. That's why I do not believe in a concept of having training wheels on one equipment. Because if you get dependent on training wheels, you get in trouble elsewhere because the other equipment do not have training wheels. And I'm saying training wheels, that's, code. Y'all could figure out what I'm talking about. If you used to one equipment can't harm you because you got training wheels on it, you get careless on something else and you end up in bales of trouble. I agree. 100%. 100% agree with you. I have a healthy respect and fair for all of my power tools. What time is it? DMC, I'm going to go ahead and call it a evening. I'm going to say good night, but I'm going to wait for your response before I go off because, once again, the latency. And everyone else that's on the live. We had 4 people, so it's you and 3 other people. There's a YouTuber that I haven't followed them in a while, that Bill Holmes, that lost just about all the fingers on one hand on a jointer. So, good evening, DMC. So it's not, I said that to say this, it's not just a table saw that can remove your fingers. Bandsaw would do it just as well. A router would put a profile on it for you. Healthy respect. And with that, I'm closing out. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching the video, and be safe in the shop.